The Hajj is a pilgrimage all Muslims are expected to do once in their life, if they can. Every year, more than 3 million Muslims make the journey to Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, to praise God, or Allah, together. It's the largest annual gathering of people on earth. The crowd is so big it would fill Wembley Stadium more than 40 times. Mecca is so special because it's the place where the Prophet Muhammad was born and received his first message from God. It's such a holy place, only Muslims are allowed in. My family is saving up for the Hajj, and I want to find out more about what it's like. So I'm meeting Mary Batul Al Torma, a tour guide for Muslim pilgrims from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Sarah.
The first time you went to Hajj, what were your first impressions and what did you do?
What really was quite awesome was the fact that I was in the midst of about 3.5 million people for the first time in my entire life. The atmosphere is wonderful, and you've got people from all over the world, from Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey, South Africa, the Middle East, Europe, America, Canada. So it's really, really quite exciting.
So tell us what happens when you go to Hajj and when you're doing it.
Hajj is a very important rite of passage for Muslims. So you go to Mecca, and this little cube-like building here is what we call the Kaaba. It's very significant in the sense that it signifies the oneness of God, and that we as Muslims all around the world, wherever we are, we all pray towards the Kaaba, signifying the oneness of God.
The Kaaba is at the centre of the Grand Mosque in Mecca, and it's the holiest site in Islam. It's the one place all Muslims turn towards when they pray, wherever they are in the world. During the Hajj, millions of Muslims walk around the Kaaba 7 times anti-clockwise to submit to Allah.
This is a piece of the cloth that covers the Kaaba. Because it signifies God and God's house, we as Muslims want to elevate it and respect it as such. It's cleaned every year, and then it's covered every year with a new cloth. And this particular pattern is drawn out and is sewn into the cloth with gold thread.
Real gold.
Real gold thread.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there are lots of people who spend the entire year of their lives making this cloth for the Kaaba.
The next stage of the Hajj is to walk or run 7 times between the hills of Safa and Marwa.
By the time you've done the circuit of the Kaaba and done Safa and Marwa, you have walked probably about 3.5, 4, 5 kilometers.
Oh, that's a lot.
So it's quite a lot.
Then the pilgrims travel to the plain of Arafat, which is where the Prophet Muhammad delivered his last sermon.
And Arafat, it's the most important day. It's the day when Muslims seek forgiveness from God for all their past,
Sins,
little mistakes. Yeah. And they pray to God for a good life, to be able to try to think very carefully about how they live their lives in the best way possible.
Finally, the pilgrims return to Mecca and perform one last important ritual.
On their way there, they stop at what we call the Jamarat, which are big stone pillars, and represents the kind of bad omens of this world, and the temptations of getting back into bad habits. So what we do, we take these little pebbles and we throw them at the Jamarat. It's about physically rejecting all the bad that might come and sort of tempt us to do wrong. And then we walk into Mecca to do our circumambulation of the Kaaba again. And this is all walking, Sarah. Mm-hmm. So this is it is hard, especially because it's so hot.
The Hajj takes place in temperatures of more than 30 degrees Celsius. Batul's job is to help look after people so they don't get lost or become ill from the heat. A trip like this takes a lot of planning.
This is the dress for Muslim men who go on Hajj, and it's two very large pieces of white toweling. Okay? So it's like a great big bath towel.
All Muslim pilgrims wear ihram, special clothes that unite them as equals before Allah.
They put one part of this around their waist, and then they pop the other one around the top part of their body and their shoulders.
And what do the women wear?
The women wear usually just one straight, loose kind of dress. It can be any colour. Lots of women like to wear white because the men wear white, but it can be any colour. As long as they're covered and they maintain their respect, that's all they're asked to do.
The Hajj pilgrimage is one of the best things you can do as a Muslim. Every Muslim dreams of going. I think Hajj is going to be a really spiritual thing to do. The fact that you see like 3.5 million people, that's quite overwhelming. It would be a really spiritual moment, and I would really enjoy it.